2025. Let's be honest, this wasn't the best year for mainstream rap. It probably was one of the weaker ones that we have had in a while. I would say it's on a similar level to 2023, but really the main problem of 2023 was that no one was dropping. The problem with 2025 is that everybody dropped projects, but most of them were pretty bad, which means that making this list of the top 10 worst songs of 2025 was really easy, because there were some really bad songs that charted on the Billboard Hot 100. And yes, I am gonna be limiting myself to only count songs that charted on the Billboard Hot 100. Why is that? Just to have, a way to limit myself, because like last year I didn't make this video. I was planning to, but I was gonna do it without any limit, and I found it really impossible to do. Besides, if I do it like that, it's just gonna be like the worst song out of every album that I have on my top 10 of worst albums. It's just basically gonna be the same list. So I'm gonna do it like this to add a bit more variety to it. Plus, there are some songs on here that I would have never listened to if it wasn't for me making this video. So yeah. Also, some pretty interesting things that I noticed was, first, What the Hell It did not chart, which was pretty surprising to me because that song was like everywhere when it came out. And also, even though More Chaos went number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200, even though it went number 1 and it was really popular, not a single song off of that album charted on the Hot 100, which, like, yeah, that project was pretty mid, but it was huge, so it was pretty surprising to me to not see a single song out of that. But anyways, I'm gonna start with the spot number 11, because I'm always gonna try to do number 11 for a song that did not chart that I really want to include in the list. So yeah, let's get right into it. The drunk, already elephant, bitch, dying, no drunk, but I still act a donkey like. So at the 11th spot we have Peanuts to an Elephant by Lil Wayne, and it is pretty lucky for Wayne that all of the songs that charted from the Carter 6 were pretty good in my opinion. I mean, not pretty good, but they were like some of the better songs in the Carter 6, and the weaker ones, which were like on the second half of the track list, did not chart. But I still had to talk about Peanuts to an Elephant. This song is just generational in the sense that it's so laughably bad that you just kind of can't understand how Wayne listened to this song completely and said, yeah, let's put that on the album. And what's also very funny to me is that if you look at the producer of this song, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda, he has composed songs for Hamilton and like various movie soundtracks, and it's very funny to me that he is credited as the only producer in this song. It just feels like he was used to working with like live orchestras and everything like that, and then Jay just randomly grabbed him and put him in an FL Studio and he just made this dog shit. First of all, you have the elephant noises throughout the song, which are just so comically bad, and then the bass comes in like at the 10 seconds marks, and it just does not fit at all with the beat, and the beat is just like super goofy. It sounds like taken out of a Donkey Kong game or something like that. Wayne's rapping isn't that bad. He does have some annoying deliveries, but it mostly isn't all that terrible. But to be honest, over this production, it's just impossible for anyone to make a good song. So yeah, quickly before stepping into the actual top 10, I have some other dishonorable mentions that I want to quickly mention. So Mommy by Young Thug featuring Sexy Red. This was not a good year for Young Thug, and this song is like the worst thing that he did. The beat sounds super dead, and Thug just repeating mommy after every single line in the hook is just super annoying, and then the post-chorus is just him saying mommy, mommy, mommy all over again. And Sexy Red is just kind of like the same thing, but instead of mommy she says daddy. It's just such a stale and painful listen. It's not like even laughably bad, because the beat again is super plain and their deliveries are just like so basic and boring. It's just painful to see what Young Thug has come to. Then I have another song featuring Sexy Red, So Sexy by Rob 49 featuring Sexy Red and YTB Fat. It has a super basic and boring trap beat. The hook is super repetitive. Both Rob 49 and Sexy Red do terrible deliveries, and YTB Fat had a more solid verse than the rest, but he had some terrible lines on here. Let me just put some for you. So we have
I jack off every time you post a picture on your IG. I beat my dick every time you post a picture on your IG.
did he really need to start his verse off like that? And it's not only him, you also have Sexy Red delivering some classic lines from her, like
Red seas, red thumb, like I'm fresh off my period.
what the fuck are we doing here? And the last dishonorable mention that I wanted to have here is Pretty Girl by Will Smith featuring Obanga. My problem with this is that this beat sounds super basic and outdated, and Will Smith's delivery is just super annoying, especially with the hook when I like pretty girls, 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 girls. It's just very, very painful. And somehow you probably saw the mashup that they did with Will Smith with this song over the Nokia beat, and it sounds really good. So maybe it is the beat or how Will is put into the beat that makes it sound so bad. I don't really know what the main problem is, but it just makes for a really cringy song. And yeah, like, to be honest, who is listening to Will Smith in the big 2025? But yeah, after all of that, we can finally get into the actual top 10, so let's go. Okay, so at the 10th spot we have the song What You Is by NBA Youngboy featuring Mellow Rax. Let me just start by saying that I was pretty surprised that Youngboy only charted with 2 songs this year, the other one being Shots Calling, which I thought was a pretty decent song, but this one just went all wrong. I know a lot of people criticize YB for like being super annoying, and honestly this song just showcases that to the fullest point, just because YB has so many verses in here that each one of them has like its own different thing. Like the third verse is just super annoying with the vocals, the fourth verse just starts clapping in the background and it's just super annoying, and then the hook of the second part just ends with that section that you heard before where he just started like screaming pop 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 and stuff like that, and it's just laughably bad. It's just like YB mumbling and screaming for 4 minutes. He doesn't have a single interesting flow, he doesn't have any bars, nothing in here to grab your attention. As I mentioned before, Mellow Rax is also on this song and she has like a really small portion compared to YB. She's a bit more tolerable, but she still does some weird stuff with her vocal inflections that I'm just not the biggest fan of. And the beat is just super basic, like we have this goofy piano in the background with your typical 808s that you would expect from a YB track. And yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not the biggest Youngboy fan, but this song just is the most annoying thing that I've ever heard, and I genuinely just cannot understand how out of all of the music that Youngboy released this year, this one was one of the most successful ones. But yeah, just get YB off of the mic, please. So before going into this next terrible song, I would like to ask you that if you are liking the video so far and you like content about rap, music and all of that stuff, then make sure to subscribe, because I am going to be uploading all of the other end of the year lists, and I'm planning to do a lot of stuff next year. Hopefully I do have time to make more videos than I did this year. So yeah, that's it. Also, second thing, for some reason on Spotify it says that this song came out in 2024. It did came out in 2025 though. I'm not sure why in Spotify it says that, but it did come out in 2025. But yeah, let's talk about it. The collab of the century, what everyone was waiting for, Sexy Red and Bruno Mars hopping on a track. And it's really funny to me that last year, after Bruno Mars had that hit record with Lady Gaga, his first thought was, you know, another great artist that I should make a song with, Sexy Red. I remember him saying that he wanted to make like a strip club anthem or something like that. And like, okay, but was it really necessary to do that with Sexy Red? First of all, the beat on here is trash. It's like the most generic club rap beat, and it sounds like it was made like 10 years ago. It would perfectly fit into a futuristic summer, which for me it's not a good thing. So yeah, it just sounds super cheap, and like seeing that this was produced by Bruno Mars and his group of producers, it's really disappointing because like they usually make some really great stuff. Then Bruno Mars just really does the hook in here and it's just like so cringy, like the awkward pauses that he does and the lines like that good kitty kitty, good kitty kitty, make it my pet. Oh, Jesus Christ. It is crazy to me that Bruno Mars really just released this like in January or something, and then he didn't release a single song after that for the rest of the year. And the sad part is that it probably worked out for him because this song was a pretty big hit. Although I'm gonna pray that most people were listening to this ironically, because there is no way people actually enjoy this song. Or I don't know, maybe its purpose really did succeed and it's just getting played at strip clubs all the time. Not sure, but maybe that's the case. And then of course you have Sexy Red. Sexy Red's voice is just super annoying most of the time. Her flows are terrible, and the worst part is the lyricism. You know, I'm not expecting like good lyrics from Sexy Red, just like I wouldn't expect like good lyrics from, let's say, Lil Baby or Future. And with that I don't mean that I'm not expecting good lyrics, but I'm not expecting level of lyrics as people on Griselda or let's say J. Cole or Freddie Gibbs. But I am also expecting something decent and nothing that will make me like cringe and shit. And Sexy Red just makes me want to take my ears off throughout this whole song. Pussy like cocaine, put it up your nose. Yep. That is a real line on a real song that charted on the real Billboard Hot 100. Milk mustache on your face when I come. Jesus Christ. Titties on titties with big titty friends. Okay, no, like we just gave up at this point. It's not even like creative. It's just like saying shit for the sake of saying shit. And it's like so funny to me because in the first verse, like, yeah, it's super cringy, but at least there's an attempt of doing some wordplay, even though it's terrible. But it's so funny that on the second verse it really just seems like Sexy Red just gave up and just started saying shit straight up, like titties on your forehead, titties on your chin, arch your back, put your ass into it. Yeah, no, what the fuck, stop it. It's just like a freaky ass song, and the delivery doesn't make it any better, and the beat doesn't make it any better, and Bruno doesn't make it any better. Just a mess of a song, and I'm praying to God that this collab doesn't get a sequel. It's not a lot of times where we get Bruno Mars collabing with rap artists. I mean, we don't really get a lot of Bruno Mars music in general, so to have this one be one of the examples, I don't know, man. Like, I just wish we could get another song like Wake Up in the Sky. That is amazing, but this one is just, oh my god.
All I've ever known, never wanna change, but you're still there, laying down, bend it over, break it down.
Okay, so for this next one, I'm technically cheating a little bit since the version of this song that charted was not the remix, it was the original. But my main problem with the song is not really the remix itself, it's a bit of the original as well. I just wanted to include the remix because I think it is an even worse version of the original, and I just wanted to add a bit of more stuff. So anyways, my main issue with this fucking song is this trash ass beat that samples Crank That by Soulja Boy. We are really doing that. We are really sampling Soulja Boy in 2025. And it's really funny to me because Tommy Richman, you know, everyone thought was gonna be a one-hit wonder with $1 Million Baby, because like then he released an album and nobody listened to it. But he also had another hit, Devil Is a Lie, which I think is a banger, and I really like that song a lot. And then his third hit song was Acting Up, and I really just don't get it. Like, this beat is just so trash with the Soulja Boy keys in the back and then some dark piano notes on top of it which just don't fit at all. I don't know if this is just me, but Tommy kinda sounds like he's dying on the hook, like he sounds super awkward, and this is just not the type of stuff that Tommy Richman should be doing. I know that he says that he's like a rapper, but I'm not sure. Like, his other songs were not all that rap oriented, it was sort of like a mix between rap and R&B and some other stuff. If he just goes straight into hip hop and rap and songs like this, I just don't think he works well with this this type of instrumental. And then to, you know, keep the money going with this hit song, he decided to make a remix. And who better to add to your remix than Sexy Red? And just like that is how Tommy Richman never got another song to chart on the Billboard Hot 100. But really, this was his last song to ever chart, and I like to think that it is because everyone heard this trash ass remix with Sexy Red and just gave up on him completely. And like, I can't really judge because like I haven't really listened to any of his other stuff, but like, who really has been listening to it? But yeah, Sexy Red hopped in the remix, and it's just the most bland and basic Sexy Red feature that you could ever ask for. It doesn't have any standout trash lines like on Fat, Juicy and Wet, but it's just super plain and basic. It's just her talking about how she's hot and stuff like that, and nothing really interesting, no distinct flows, no distinct lines, not even ones that are like really bad but at least are memorable. Nothing, it's just boring. But yeah, I guess she was the only one that heard this beat and actually wanted to rap on it, aside from like Soulja Boy. But we are not getting Soulja Boy on a song on 2025. Has anyone really been listening to Soulja Boy's new stuff? I think he dropped a project this year or something, so maybe I will check that out someday. Don't think I should though. I don't want to know what type of music Soulja Boy is making nowadays. But anyways, I think this is the last time Sexy Red is gonna be on this list, because you know, she wasn't as popular or as big this year as she was last year. But yeah, just wait until she drops her next project, probably next year. I'm really not looking forward to that.
Gunslinging chain takers, dope boy lifestyle, chrome heart with no label, mama couldn't afford cable.
Next up, we have a song that at the time of me recording this video was the last rap song to chart on the Billboard on 2025, and that is the long-awaited collab between Lil Baby and Playboi Carti, Let's Do It, also with Schoolie in there. And you know, I was actually really looking forward to this, even though Lil Baby might not be making the most interesting music in 2025. I still thought that this collab could be pretty good. But well, once again, we are on the top 10 of worst songs of 2025, so you could probably guess that the song was not very good. So my main issue with this is that you have this really upbeat synth beat that is just, I don't know, it sounds like a little bit off, and Schoolie's background vocals get really annoying really quickly. And then you have Playboi Carti coming in with his future voice, which is like super deep, and it just contrasts super hard with the beat. I think he would have done much better if he used like a higher pitch voice, but this one just does not fit with the vibe of the song at all, and he just sounds really bad, especially with the mixing that is a bit weird. It's just like if you could hear the background, or like if his microphone was like really loud or something. I don't know, but he just sounds super weird. Then Schoolie's hook is just like fine, it's probably the best part of the song. And when Lil Baby comes in, I'm just like way too overstimulated, because you have Lil Baby rapping, you have the synth in the back, you have the annoying drums, the annoying Schoolie background vocals, and you have Carti screaming A in the background, and it's just so much going on, and none of it sounds good and none of it complements with each other. It was just such a disappointing collab, because like, again, I think that this duo could have worked much better, but for some reason Playboi Carti is obsessed with using this future voice whenever he has to do features. He did the same in Off the Meter, but at least the rest of that song was pretty good, in my opinion at least. So yeah, any sound that Carti is hopping on a song with that future voice is just not gonna be it for me.
She gonna kill, yeah.
Take me through that, take me through that.
She gone.
Take me through that, take me.
Okay, so we really need to talk about a futuristic summer. The more I think about it, the more I think I won't be including that in my top 10 worst albums of the year list, just because we have had so many atrocious albums this year, and I think that album has at least a couple of good songs, but still, that album is very, very bad, especially for Metro standards. I've seen a lot of people recently switching up on it, saying like, oh, it's really good, it's really nostalgic, it has the old trap sound, and like, no, no, that it's nostalgic doesn't make it good. It still sounds bad. And like, don't get me wrong, I think that this sound could work. Like, for example, Butterflies is probably in my top 10 of most played songs of the year, but that is like one of the 3 good songs on this album, which, may I remind you, has 24 songs. And yeah, the only one that charted out of this album was Take Me Through There, which for whatever reason charted 3 months after the album came out or something like that. I don't know. I remember when I listened to this for the first time, this song was already in my bottom 3 of the weakest ones, and then it somehow charted and it became like a viral song kind of, and I just, for the love of God, cannot understand why. First off, you have this weak ass piano beat that sounds like it was made by a child, and it's just super bland and it sounds so cheap. And like, I don't know if that's maybe the sound that they were trying to go for, but it just doesn't sound good. And then the hook is super repetitive. It's really just repeating the same line over and over again, and it's like pretty long. I mean, not pretty long, but it just feels long, you know? Then you have Quavo, who completely phones it in with this feature. Like, he sounds super uninspired with this, and it's so funny to me that each of the Migos had a representation on a different Metro album. So Offset had Not All Heroes Wear Capes, Takeoff had Heroes and Villains, and then Quavo had fucking Futuristic Summer. And then you have YK Nice, or however you pronounce her name, and it's just like another super uninspired verse with a weak delivery and with basic lines, and really the half of her verse is just repeating the same lines over and over again. It's super annoying. I don't know, this just feels like such a basic song coming out from Metro and Quavo, who are both artists that I really like. I'm not familiar with the other 2 rappers that are featured on here, YK Nice and Bresky, but this really wasn't the best showcase of their talents. If they are good in their solo music, I'm not sure, I haven't listened to them. But yeah, it's just such a weak song and such a disappointment from Metro.
I see you, we gon' fight. You getting fucked tonight.
At the next spot, we have a song which I believe is one of the most streamed rap songs of 2025. We Getting Fucked Tonight by Gunna and Burna Boy. Jesus Christ. Gunna has just been dropping really mid and bad albums this last couple of years, with the one that he dropped this year being, in my opinion, his weakest one yet. And still, out of all of the songs, the 25 songs on that album, the one that I considered the worst was this one, and somehow it became one of his biggest hits. And I just really don't get it. It has the same boring turbo production that we have through the entire album. We have an annoying sampled hook, which then Gunna repeats for like half of his verse, and then his flow is just super slow and chopped up. Like, he has some really long and awkward pauses throughout his verse, and it just seems like he's thinking of what the fuck he is going to say next. And Burna Boy comes in with a super short and uninspired verse, and for some reason in the first half of his verse he sounds like a bit awkward, like he's doing this weird high pitch that I don't think he's used to be doing, because for some reason he just sounds awkward to me. He sounds like he doesn't want to be there. And yeah, the lyrics are what you might expect from a song called We Getting Fucked Tonight. It's just the freakiest and most uncomfortable shit that you will ever hear. Banking lines like suck it when I drive, baby know what I like, spread that pussy wide, let me go for a dive. Yeah, I cannot wait to be on a Gunna show and be chanting that. And then his verse ends off with the line, I see you, we gon' fight, you getting fucked tonight. That sounds illegal. What the fuck are you talking about, Gunna? But yeah, it's just Gunna making a snoozer track, which like that isn't really news for Gunna in 2025. He has been doing that for the last couple of years. And yeah, I don't know if this album is gonna finish his post-jail trilogy or if this is the second one on the One trilogy, because you know his other album was called One of One, this one is the last one. Maybe we'll have another one after this one, but I'm just praying to God that he starts doing something different. Maybe it is because not a lot of producers want to work with him and he just has Turbo, but like even Turbo has made some really good beats in the last couple of years. You look at Swing My Way by Offset or the single Classy Girls that he dropped this year with Ghana. Those two beats are really good and really catchy. So why can't he make more production like these 4 Ghana albums? Maybe it's just Ghana asking him to like do the most boring and basic beats that he can do, and that's how we get stuff like this. But yeah, just don't really see the appeal of Ghana anymore.
This pussy like you used to.
Might I remind you that people waited for like 7 years for Cardi B to drop this album, and he left this song on it. Anyways, remember on the Carter 6 when Lil Wayne interpolated Maria, Ave Maria by Andrea Bocelli, and just like added trap beats on top of it, and it was like super funny? Well, Cardi B also did that with the song What's Up, and yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's not the original, it's like a cover from Lizzo, but it's just as jarring as how Lil Wayne did it. It just really sounds like a bad joke, but no, this song is supposed to be taken seriously, and for some reason I don't really know how to explain this, but Cardi B on her verses is using like a YouTuber flow. I don't really know how to put it, but you know all of those cringy YouTuber rappers? I feel like this is one of those flows, which isn't the best thing. And then the content matter is just her talking about leaving her man behind finally, and you know, all of that Offset stuff, which I mean, like, yeah, you know, you can talk about it, of course it was a huge moment in your life, but this is like the 10th time you've talked about that on a song in this album. Like, no joke, half of the songs on this project talk about the same thing, and like, you know, I get it, it was a big moment in her life, it was painful, but does it really help saying the same stuff in every song? I think people get the point. And yeah, I don't know, whenever I hear this song I just imagine like the 40-year-old moms listening to this and like feeling super empowered. I like, no, this is not an anthem, let's not treat it like that. But yeah, Cardi B had a bunch of annoying songs in the charts, but I feel like I had to include this one mainly because of that interpolation, but in general it's just another weak song from a really weak project.
Want to meet your madre, pay my respects to your padre, mi amor. Like that, for sure. 10 million views in a day. Look at me, I know you see a cake, cause you're one of them ones that's trying to get saved. I'm here.
At the next spot, we have something that's a bit more unique. We have a tie between 2 songs from Drake. I swear to God, like the last couple of years, Drake drops like the weakest albums that somehow managed to still have like one amazing song, but the rest it's absolute trash. It's a mid-fest, and this one was not the exception. Not even Party Next Door could save this shit. So first of all, you've all heard this song, Meet Your Padre. It was probably the most clowned on song of 2025, and for good reason. It's really sad to me seeing like the evolution of Spanish Drake songs. First you had Mia by Bad Bunny, where Drake was talking all the time in Spanish and it sounded super good. Like, he really trained for that song because he just sounds like a native Spanish speaker. He sounds really well on that song, and that song is a banger. Then you have Gently with Bad Bunny on his For All the Dogs album, and yeah, that was really not good. The first part was trash, and then the second one wasn't any better, but at least the beat was good, and I really like Bad Bunny's part, and he takes up most of the runtime in that song, so I can take it. But this song has no redeemable qualities. First of all, you have this trash ass beat that sounds like he's just mocking Mexicans with this generic mariachi like guitar and the andale andale in the backgrounds. What were we trying to do here? And then of course the lyrics are just terrible. Text your friends que pasa, vamos bring them to mi casa, por favor. Yeah, sure. Chino Pacas, then he's like barely on this song, but I just really don't like his song. I mean, his voice. I know he's a very close collaborator of Peso Pluma, and I'm just really not a big Peso Pluma fan, and he's just not much better than him. Party Next Door, I mean, he's like the least bad part of the song, but it's still pretty weak. He has some lines like, I can make you feel mucho mejor, meet me outside por favor, without you my heart's in dolor. It's paying for Fiesta Next Door. Are we fucking serious? Fiesta Next Door, that's what we are doing? And yeah, this song just really feels like a joke, but for some reason I feel like Drake did not make it as a joke. He really wanted to make this song. But then also we have the song Glorious, which is mainly because basically everyone has talked about Meteor Padre, and I also wanted to talk about Glorious because I think that song is also terrible and no one seems to be talking about it. So we have generic drill beat 4 on here, and then Drake just using and copying the Ice Spice flow on the first verse, and then on the second verse just using the central C flow. What are we doing? This is terrible. This is trash. And then we have also Ice Spice on the intro. I swear to God, if Iceman has an Ice Spice feature, which I just realized would make sense because of the ice part, but anyways, if Ice Spice is a featured artist on Iceman, I'm just not listening to it. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to that shit. And yeah, aside from copying other artists' flow, Drake just sounds dead while doing so. Like he has zero energy on his voice. He does not want to be there. And Party Next Door in that hook, he just really sounds like Future, and that's something I noticed a lot in this album, that Party Next Door sounding like Future on We Still Don't Trust You, and in here especially he sounds like Future and he's mixed a bit weirdly, and I don't know, it's just such a weird song. And why are you including a drill song on an R&B album? Why are you including a Mexican type song that just sounds like a joke on an R&B album? How about you just make R&B songs for the R&B album? That would be a really good idea. But yeah, anyways, like Drake is just a joke at this point. Like, what even is this?
This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good man tried to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us.
Okay, so I can see two types of people here being shocked. The people that haven't listened to this song might be shocked because like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this song even a thing? And why did it chart? And then the people that have listened to the song are shocked because it's not number one. But anyways, where do I even start with this? First off, I'm just gonna say like I'm not really gonna get into like the political aspect of it because like I'm not even American, like I'm not involved in all of that. I'm just gonna say like I don't know, I'm just not gonna get involved into all of that. But it's really scummy to me that like the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Tom MacDonald went and released this shit, and it's just like, why? And it's really just him like taking advantage of the situation to just push his political views, that which is like basically what he does in every song on his catalog. But yeah, like the second line on this song is, another woke coward took a life with a gun. We're really gonna do that in a song about someone's death? Now, ignoring all of the lyrical stuff and all of the background, this song sonically is also terrible. The beat sounds like your no copyright background music, and the hook where Tom MacDonald is like singing, just, I mean, it's Tom MacDonald singing, what else would you expect? And yeah, it's just a shitty song, both sonically and in concept, and it's I don't know. Why are we still making Tom MacDonald's chart? Last year it was with that trash Ben Shapiro song, which, yeah, at least that was funny, I guess, but this is just sad, like, what are we doing? But yeah, just brace yourself, because if this is not number one, then you know that what is about to come is something else.
You back to back to back, that could never be me. Ain't speaking fast, she made me laugh, I call them Marlon Wayne.
If you have not heard the song, then I don't blame you. I hadn't listened to this either until I saw that this song charted somehow. And it is apparently part of a beef between Bad Baby and Alabama Barker. Generally, who the fuck is keeping up with this? I was under the impression that Bad Baby was like a bad gimmick a couple of years ago that just was there for the moment and then just disappeared. But no, she's apparently still making music and it's still not good. Like, how does it fit in your head that the best song that you can sample for your diss track is fucking Carnival by Kanye West? That's really what you're gonna sample out of all of the songs that you could have chosen? That's the one? But hey, I guess it worked. Like, this song got views, so Oh my god. And then like the second line after you start the song is, you sucked the dick straight out my ass, who got the upper hand? There was Drake and Kendrick, and now there's Bad Baby and fucking Alabama Barker. What is this? And like, don't kill me for not being tapped in with what happened in this beef or why they are mad at each other or what half of these lines are referring to, but like, just as someone that doesn't know a lot about this just sounds bad, and I don't really want to see what the response to this was, because I am afraid that's gonna be even worse. Like, my money long shit on the floor look like I printed. What the fuck does that even mean? What what are we doing? Baby says, I'm up the street like here I am, Alabama. I really hope that this is the last that we have to see from Bad Baby ever, because like, how does this shit have streams? No, fuck that. How did this get approved by Kanye? I mean, like, I understand he's not on the best mind in 2025, but like, still, you had time to revise this, approve it, and clear the sample, and let her use it, and let her release this. I'm just hoping that whenever he passes out again, he uses some of that energy to take this song down, because this is probably the worst song that I listened to this entire year. But anyways, that was my top 10 of the worst rap songs of the year out of the songs that charted on the Billboard Hot 100. And I just wanted to tell you that even though there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of bad music this year, there were still plenty of good songs. So while I'm gonna keep talking, I'm just gonna put on screen my favorite songs out of some of the albums that I listened to this year, just so you have some stuff to check out if you feel like this year has been really weak, which, don't get me wrong, it has been, but there's still plenty of good stuff out there. And yeah, next up we have a bit more positivity, because I'm gonna work on the top 10 best songs of the year, which, trust me, there are some songs, really good songs, that charted on the Billboard Hot 100. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get that done quickly, and after that we have the albums, and after that we have 2026. My plans for 2026 so far, well, if Roddy Ricch drops his album, then make the discography ranking for Roddy Ricch as the one that I did for Pop Smoke. If he keeps on delaying it, then I'm thinking of making a King Von discography ranking. I'm just getting out of the way these rappers that just won't drop anymore because they passed away, and it doesn't seem like the label are gonna keep dropping projects. So I'm just getting those discography rankings out of the way while we wait for Roddy Ricch. Then if A$AP Rocky drops his album, of course I'm gonna make a video about it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, and all of that, and I'll see you soon, hopefully on the top 10 best songs of the year. Yeah, goodbye.